Kamala Harris all of a sudden was able to captivate a large swath of the population because they thought, oh my God, she's young. She's gonna be different than Joe Biden. And then she was like, no, I'm not. I suck. I'm gonna do the same shit. It's just like I'm Biden, but younger. That's incredible, too.
Vice President Kamala Harris plans to announce new economic policies. She's in New Hampshire. That's the top issue for Americans. They say they care about it a whole heck of a lot, and she's rolling out some new ideas. Ed O'Keefe has made his way to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and is following all this for us. Ed, good morning to you.
Tony, good to see you. This focus on the economy for Harris today comes as polling continues to show voters give former President Donald Trump the edge on the question of who they think is better equipped to handle the economy. So today she's unveiling a series of ideas that her campaign says are designed to make life easier for small businesses. There's a new tax credit that would allow new small businesses to take startup expenses, write them off their taxes, going from $5,000 currently up to $50,000. That's a tenfold increase. She's also setting a goal of seeing 25 million new small businesses established over her 4 years in office. That would be up from the 19 million created during the Biden years, more than were created during the Trump years. There is no word on how much this would cost, and of course it would require congressional approval. But the idea that she's doing this in a state...
This is, again, I already shit on this yesterday. And I warned the Democratic Party over and over again, enthusiasm will wane if they keep rushing to the middle. You're supposed to run a 2008 Obama campaign, not a 2012 Obama campaign, and certainly not a 2016 Hillary campaign. But of course, nobody listens to me because why the f should they? I'm some dumb commentator who isn't even getting paid by the Russian government, you know? Republicans took back a narrow lead on enthusiasm. I wonder how the bump that existed from the swap out died so fast. This is the problem for many in the chat who are naysayers. Not gonna lie, I usually think you aren't good at electoralism, but recent trends are proving you right and me wrong. No, I've always been good. It's just by experience. I've been doing this for a very long time. The difference is the Democrats have never actually followed through on anything that I've ever said, with the exception of two instances where they chose Tim Walz and they swapped out Joe Biden. That's why they saw this massive bump. And it was an unexpected outcome from me as well. I didn't think that was going to happen. I was shocked, which is why I'm riding in Biden. But like I said, dude, this was because Kamala Harris was presenting a different method. Okay? Kamala Harris all of a sudden was able to captivate a large swath of the population because they thought, oh my God, she's young. She's a black woman. She's gonna be different than Joe Biden. And then she was like, no, I'm not. I suck shit. I'm gonna do the same shit. It's just like I'm Biden, but younger. And I kept repeating over the last 2 fucking months, over and over again, if they cut away at the momentum, enthusiasm is gonna fall apart. If they cut away at the momentum, they're gonna make this a closer race. They can still win. Okay. And I said it back then, and I'm going to say it again. I think Kamala Harris has a decent likelihood of winning the election, but there's no reason for this to be a close race. Oh my God, Weeby. I know Donald Trump's chances have improved in the Nate Silver model. I know. Oh. Elon Musk naturally promoted nonsense peddled by Tenet Media, which was also now financed by indicted Russian operatives. I mean, yeah, he's also a white supremacist. Like he everything that's like bad and shitty, Elon Musk is on board with. There's nothing else going on there. Weeby is currently running into the same problem that many liberals run into in the chat, sending analysis notoriously from an unreliable person because it corresponds to their own worldview. The difference, of course, is that liberals do this on a daily basis. Weeby does this every now and then. I understand Nate Silver's analysis on the matter. I get what he's looking at. Didn't you say Kamala should try to tax Obama rather than Hillary? Obama made the same team of rivals move that Kamala Harris made. No, that was after he became president. That was shitty as no, I'm talking about running as a progressive campaigner. Okay? Not after he became president. That's why I said, oh wait, not 2012. I hate the team of rivals shit. It's like one of the Obama era moves that I just despise so much. Anyway,
State with low or no taxes is no mistake, because she's trying to cut into Trump's advantage on the economy. When we ask voters in our polling, for example, if the economy is their top concern, who's their top choice? The answer right now, at least for now, is Trump. Meanwhile, CBS News has learned that after today, Harris is headed to Pittsburgh tomorrow and is essentially going to live in Western Pennsylvania until next Tuesday. She'll be preparing for her debate with the former president Tuesday night in Philadelphia. Trump, by the way, Nate, is in New York tomorrow for a speech to the Economic Club.
Thank you, Ed.
Agreeing with the latest now in the race for the White House. Just 6 days to go until the first presidential debate between Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Rachel Scott is tracking the Trump campaign. First, let's start with Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce, who's covering the Harris campaign. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, George. Well, Kamala Harris today is out trying to bring her economic policy vision into focus. She's going to be in New Hampshire today, where she'll be outlining her plan to help small businesses and encourage entrepreneurship by expanding tax deductions for startup costs tenfold from $5,000 to $50,000. She will also announce efforts to reduce red tape and ease regulations, including creating a standard deduction for small businesses. Now, this is all part of Harris's goal to help start 25 million small businesses if elected. Then for the rest of the week, we expect her to be largely off of the campaign trail as she gets ready for the debate next week. But she's taking the unusual step of hunkering down in a key battleground. She will be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, studying up for her first ever face-to-face encounter with Donald Trump. This gives her the ability, the campaign says, to get out there and do some informal campaigning while also studying up. Now, sources tell us she has already been doing some mock debates. Her plan here is to try and not get bogged down, not get down any rabbit holes, but to really focus on the issues, pivot, and attack Trump. She's going to try and rehearse, how to keep cool, how to stay calm, while also going after Trump. And yes, George, also trying to get under his skin.
No question about that. Let's take a thank you, Mary. Let's go to Rachel Scott, of course, is tracking the Trump campaign. Not one for traditional debate prep.
Yeah, Donald Trump, George, has never been a fan of any formal traditional debate prep. So I'm told there will be no mock debates for the former president. Instead, he is reviewing policy with a small group of advisors. And his campaign has brought on former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. You may remember she was once a rival to Vice President Kamala Harris during the 2020-2019 Democratic primary election. She challenged her on that debate stage. This is shaping up to be the most consequential moment of this campaign. But this is not the face-off that Donald Trump wanted. He wanted to run against President Biden, especially after his first performance in that debate. And since Biden has exited the race, Trump has really had a hard time trying to define Vice President Harris. His advisors, close allies to the former president, have been urging him to steer away from those personal attacks, stay focused on the message and those critical issues, especially the ones where he has an edge on Harris: immigration, crime, the economy. The former president will be doing a town hall later today. He's delivering remarks on the economy in New York tomorrow, then holding a rally in Wisconsin this weekend. But even those who are close to Trump admit they don't know which version of him is going to show up on that debate stage next week, George.
It will be a big night. Okay, Rachel, thanks very much. Of course, you can see the debate on Tuesday night right here on ABC.
All right, Mark, thanks. 61. If you listen to James Carville, they should separate themselves. Kamala Harris should separate herself right away from Joe Biden. And someone's got to tell Joe Biden the truth at one point. You're too old, number one. You can't run for re-election, number two. You're not popular, number three. And number four, Harris is better off without you. So I don't know why people don't level with him.
That's the only way she can win.
He talked twice as long as she did, kissed her on top of the head as if she's the junior partner. I think it looked terrible over the weekend. So one of the things that Carville says, display a clear growth mindset and be growth mindset and separate yourself from the administration when you can. That'll be interesting.
I mean, I just agree with his strategy. The only way Kamala Harris has a real shot, because I've been saying this the entire time, the high is only going to last so long. People live in terrible circumstances right now when it comes to the economy, the border, and the way that crime is impacting them. If she doesn't go out there and reject what's happening in the administration, we don't need her to just feel the pain. We need a plan that's going to reverse everything that's going on right now.
And so that is why today in New Hampshire, apparently she's going to, even though she is essentially, if she wins, she'll be the Biden 2.0 administration.
Obama 3.0.
It has been said. That's good. But here's the thing. So what she really needs to do, and James Carville has kind of alluded to this as well, is you got to turn the page. How do you turn the page? She's going to say, well, I was vice president, but at the same time, look at my new economic plan, where she's got this new $50,000 credit.
So here's the thing. Fox unironically saying she should separate from Biden, but they think it would help them. Here's the thing. For Donald Trump to win this election, something that is not in the current models and not showing up in current polling has to happen. Whether that be a genuine change in terms of the way that people care about Israel-Palestine, which is a very high likelihood that it could happen. If not a damn near, I mean, it's a 100% lock. You know what I mean? That it will most likely happen if they don't fix this Israel shit up and stop Benjamin Netanyahu from behaving in the way that he is. The other side of this, of course, is that Donald Trump needs to secure votes, just like he did in 2016, from people that normally don't get polled. Conspiracy nuts, people that are totally checked out of the political process. It just won't, people that normally don't show up in the polls and don't lead to a noticeable difference in momentum for Donald Trump. Okay? If Donald Trump, who does have the tendency to win those guys over in every election cycle to a degree that allows him to win elections, as a matter of fact, doesn't, if Donald Trump wins enough of those voters again, as Kamala Harris ends up running a depressive campaign because the hope and the Brat Summer vibes are over, there is definitely a chance that Donald Trump could win. Right now, it's unlikely. Okay? It's unlikely. I still think Kamala Harris is going to win. Having said that, however, the race should not be close, and she should be building on the momentum that she got by doing the exact opposite things that she's doing now. Okay? That's it. I think the debates will decide a lot. I don't think the debates will be that worthwhile, and I don't think that it will favor Kamala Harris in the way that you automatically assume it will, especially judging by, I don't know how she's going to be. In a debate stage against Donald Trump, but I do know how she has presented herself so far, and I can only look at what she's done and how she's communicated herself so far and make inferences off of that. If she goes into the debate with the rush to the middle ass attitude, she's cooked. Okay? She's absolutely cooked. It's not looking great. The difference, however, is that Donald Trump is also really bad, if not significantly worse than Kamala Harris on a regular basis. So I don't think it's going to move the needle in the way that you think it is, especially because she does not have any tangible policy positions that make people excited to vote for her. And she's not charismatic individually enough to be able to carry a campaign on being telegenic alone. So if you don't have both, at least Trump is telegenic. If you ain't got no frizz, and on top of that, you ain't got no policies that get people excited, what the fuck do you have? You're just Joe Biden, but younger. If Joe Biden was able to be boring, collected, and calm against Donald Trump, that would have carried him across the finish line. Okay? The margins were already there, but he was still going to lose regardless. He was also unable to be collected, calm, and boring because he was too old. But even back then, I said, there's still a slim chance that Joe Biden might win. Obviously, my opinion changed after, the debate stage when everybody was like, oh my God, he's so old. Kamala Harris can't do that. The talented 10th of black people are arguing on Twitter about code switching, but Kamala isn't a Southern black woman to switch to that style of communication. Glad I'm not in a swing state. Yeah, I mean, I don't give a fuck about Kamala Harris code switching. I think it's the same racist bullshit. The same racist bullshit that Republicans did against Obama. I don't care. The only thing that I think is good that Kamala Harris does do, and this automatically is something that you do when you're a black person in America, just like Obama also did this, is never talk about identity politics and talk about how you're going to be a president for all Americans. Hillary Clinton, as a white woman, literally ran with I'm with her ass shit. You never hear that from Kamala Harris. Why? Because ain't nobody with black women. And she knows that. Okay? Which is precisely why she's I don't care about the identity stuff. Don't ever bring it up. Okay? Moving on. That's it. It's just the truth. Okay? So now they can't hit her on the identity politics stuff. No her story shit. None of that. So now they're oh, look at how she changed her accent. And Republicans don't want to literally call her a Kenyan Muslim woman like they did with Barack Obama. So now, because it's 2024 and it's not 2007, 2008, they have to resort to different methods that are still very similar, which is call into question her identity. Is she really a black woman? Is she a Southern black woman? Is she code switching? What is she doing? Okay. First of all, virtually every single black person code switches. That's number one. So it's not really that unique or different. Okay. Number two, Kamala Harris doing a Southern accent in Michigan is not her code switching. You just, you know, she's, I don't know, I haven't heard enough of her, but like, you're literally just trying to say she's doing a black accent, okay, without saying that. That's why you're like, oh, she's using a Southern accent, which is pretty funny that the Republicans are trying to do that. These talking points are not new. They have been on that side of Black Twitter for years. I mean, yeah.
Credit if you start a small business and some other stuff. It's just to sweeten the pot to get people to take.
What does all black people code switch mean? What do you think it means? Black people comprises 13% of the American population. America is a society built on enslaving black people and doing chattel slavery. So yes, white supremacy is still very much a reality. Therefore, black people in black groups will oftentimes code switch and sound different when they are in an entirely white environment. One of the best examples that you can actually find out is when we did the podcast with the Crash Dummies podcast, where I think it made it into the final cut. There was a black fan of Crash Dummies, and as soon as he heard like Austin's voice, he immediately started talking like this. Also, it's not just black people either. People in the South do that as well. Like Southern white people sound different when they are talking to one another versus when they go up north. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm black. You are completely right, Law. Oh, you thought I was being racist, huh? Kamala isn't code switching or from the South. It's offensive to some people. No, it's not. Nobody gives a shit. Also, she wasn't talking like she's from the South. That's a substitute for Republican commentators to say black scent without saying black scent. Okay? That's literally it. That's it. That's literally it. They don't want to say she's doing a black scent, because then people will call them out for being racist. And that's it. That literally is the real reason why they're like, oh, she sounds like she's from the South.
A look at her and to try to differentiate herself from Joe Biden.
Donald Trump has to just continue to remind the voter of what she stands for. I don't think it's about separating herself
what does she
from
stand
Biden.
for?
She
She's
stands
changed
for
everything.
decriminalization of illegal immigrants. She stands for taking away your insurance. She stands for Medicare for all. We all know she hates fracking. She's always been anti-fracking until she just flip-flopped. She wants everyone to drive an EV. She wants to raise taxes when it comes to your groceries. All of these high prices are under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. That's what she stands for. There's no separating.
Hassan, do you think it's possible to support both sides of the election? Yeah, me. I'm doing that. I'm a centrist, and as a centrist, I think like both sides are good, and I hope the nicest person wins.
Herself from Joe Biden, because we've heard her as she ran for president 4 years ago as a senator, how she voted, where she really stands on these issues.
Yeah, where does she stand now? Well, this week, the Harris-Walz campaign showing what their true colors when it comes to their leadership styles. And take a look at some of these examples.
First, Vice President Harris skipping a ceremony at Arlington Cemetery to honor those 13 heroes that were killed during the disastrous withdrawal under her watch from Afghanistan, while ripping Trump's visit with their families as a political stunt because the families wanted to take a picture with President Trump.
That's exactly right. And meanwhile, over the weekend, as America learned about Hamas brutal murders of the 6 hostages, including an American, Governor Walz walked away from eating his ice cream when asked about it.
What's your reaction to the 6 hostages being found dead in Gaza?
Thanks. There's nothing harder for a political commentator on the right side, like on Fox, when like Democrats obviously lean into the bipartisan support for like foreign policy issues, especially Israel. Like, how do you cut content? It's got to be hard. You know what I mean? It's got to be hard because like you have to, by nature, because you're a propagandist for the Republican Party, find like differences in opinion. Like, see, the Democrats are not like sufficiently pro-Israel. How the can you say that though when they are literally like, I'm Israel chaying everywhere? You know what I mean? Like they just straight up, every Democrat is like, I love Israel. It's the most moral nation on the planet. I wish I could personally kill a Palestinian child. I dream about killing Palestinian children because of how much I love Israel. And these guys have to sit there and be like, you know, Tim Walz, your silence speaks volumes. As the person whose vice president you are on the ticket is literally screaming bloody murder about how it is actually how we're going to kill Hamas extra hard. Meanwhile, Israeli citizens are literally protesting Benjamin Netanyahu. You know, like it's got to be hard. It's got to be hard for you. It's got to be hard for you if you're a Fox News commentator when you just sit there and you're like, wow, these Democrats, they are not sufficiently pro-Israel. Let me tell you, okay? Nice straw man. I mean, I'm also making jokes, but I don't know what you're referring to with respect to is being a straw man. It isn't hard for them at all. They're such virulent fascists that they sincerely believe that Joe Biden isn't sufficiently pro-Israel. Dog, Joe Biden and Donald Trump are like the same level of pro-Israel. If not, Joe Biden might even be more like ideologically in support of Zionism than Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is just getting materially supported by pro-Israel ultra-Zionists, so he is pro-Israel. And he also probably is like, yeah, Israel is the Jewish country. They do good business. I love business. You know, that's like the extent of Donald Trump's interest in Israel. He's like, I love $100 million. Thank you, Miriam Adelson. They're killing Muslims, and that's cool. I hate them. It's the Jew country. They do money stuff. I like money. That's Donald Trump's extent of like understanding Israel. And look no further than the way he communicates to recognize this reality, because he keeps repeating that statement. He'll be like, Jews are great. They do great money stuff. They got money magic. I love Jews. Jews who don't vote for me are mentally disabled. That's it. That's like the extent of his commentary on the situation. Okay? He has said all of those things, by the way. I'm not even exaggerating. Whereas Joe Biden literally is like, Joe Biden is a committed, ideologically minded, rabid Zionist. Now, the outcome is still the same for the Palestinians, for the record. There's still a bit of a difference because Trump says we shouldn't even negotiate. Trump says we need to recognize settlements and does so. Biden is a monster on the war, but he's at least saying we need a ceasefire. And isn't recognizing extra worse things for Israel like settlements. Currently, as it stands, there's fundamentally not a lot of differences between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, except for the fact that Donald Trump is not president. So, you know, Joe Biden has the power to stop it. Donald Trump doesn't. Yeah. Joe Biden also famously once said, if there was no Israel, he'd create it himself. And that was when his brain was decent. He was like at least 50 years old back then, 40 years ago.
Everybody. Okay. And Harris appearing to take the cue, ignoring reporters, this time while wearing headphones, boarding Air Force Two, pretending to be on a phone call. So you got to wonder where your standards are. Do you just want to make sure Donald Trump's not elected? Or do you think it's okay that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance do 34 interviews and they do combined one? Do you think it's okay that they never come out and talk to you, lay out policies? Do you think it's okay that they never even put it on their website what they stand for, let alone so they don't have to defend anything? They just want to run as king and queen until November, and then they will show you what they're going to do. There's no other conclusion you can make.
Well, and I just got to say, the insulation when it comes to the media and what took place with the 13 soldiers that were lost under Joe Biden's watch, because this could have been avoided. They invited Joe Biden and Kamala.
Genuine question. It seems like a tag to the center on some issues to have a chance at winning Pennsylvania. How is that a bad strategy? It's a bad strategy because there's plenty of fucking voters in Pennsylvania that you could immediately captivate if you were to push for progressive policies and also separate yourself from Joe Biden on Gaza. It's who and what voters you want to captivate that matters. And for the Democratic Party, it's always a race to the fucking bottom. Trying to turn this election into a close one for no reason whatsoever.
Kamala Harris to be there at the cemetery as well. And they chose not to be there. Not to mention, many of them, the family members said,
yeah, also, a great example of this is in working class populist sentiment from the likes of a dude whose brain literally is worse than Biden's, John Fetterman. John Fetterman had a phenomenal door-knocking operation and always presented himself as a progressive champion. Okay? Straight up. That's how he won. Even after his brain was no longer working, he still carried on that progressive champion messaging and it brought him across the finish line. Yeah, he outperformed Biden by 8%. Okay. Now, John Fetterman now is very different, and I'm sure his favorabilities in Pennsylvania is reflecting that reality. But having said that, the way he ran in Pennsylvania should be a pretty clear sign that, like, Pennsylvanians are not as Pennsyltucky minded as people think they are. There's plenty of Pennsylvanians who are literally progressive minded and could be could earnestly go out to the polls and vote for Kamala Harris if she were to try and capture their attention. Did you see the Alexa drama where she would praise Kamala but push away Trump? No, but that's really funny. I would love to see that. That sounds like coworker shit right there. Please send me the video. Oh my God, what are you talking about? I love this. This sounds like I'm gonna make a lock here. Okay? This sounds like some coworker ass take right here. And if I know anything, Asmongold probably covered it. Okay? Go ahead, prove me right now. This sounds like some coworker ass take. Lindsey Graham puts Amazon on notice after elections potential election interference.
Alexa does not have
that's so sick. Oh, that's so dope. Oh, that's amazing. Amazon says error caused Alexa to give reasons to vote for Harris, but not for Trump. Okay. Let's let the final prediction also come true. Come on. No one has sent me an Asmongold clip. I'm sure it exists. There's got to be an Asmongold clip out there.
Alexa, why should I vote for Donald?
Thank you. Thank you. Up next, the top of the hour ad break. Now, you don't have to be a predictor of the future to recognize that at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break because I run it at the top of every hour. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. They're smashing the Alexas. Oh my God. God, I love this country so much. Okay, these are moments where I'm like, this is the greatest country of all time. Okay. Let's hear from Lindsey. Let's hear from Lindsey Graham putting Alexa on notice, okay? Alexa, it's on site for you.
Why should I vote for Donald Trump?
I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
While there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the most significant may be that she is a woman of color who has overcome numerous obstacles to become a leader in her field. Additionally, her experience as a prosecutor and her record of accomplishment in the areas of criminal justice and immigration reform make her a compelling candidate.
Outkick host Tommy Lahren joins me now. Tommy, here we go again. What do you think about those responses from Alexa?
Do you think they ever get weirded out by the fact that it's like every female commentator on Fox News, with the exception of like 3, are identical mirror images of one another? Like, do you ever feel like they think it's odd, or do they think that like they were chosen for this position and they just all accidentally happen to look exactly like one another?
Well, listen, isn't it funny, Carly, that every time there is a big tech error, it only seems to go one way? I think there are no Americans who are shocked by this. I mean, if we look at the list of things, and there are really too many to name, but when you think about COVID censorship, the Hunter Biden laptop censorship on X, on Facebook, across social media, when you think about Facebook accidentally labeling the Trump assassination attempt photo as something that was altered when it clearly was not, the list just goes on and on on the Google searches, which were really Kamala campaign ads disguised as news searches, there's always an error, and these companies always come out and then they address that there was an error. Then perhaps they quickly change it, but there's never any accountability, never any consequences. And I'd also like to point out that even when Alexa gives an answer about why you should vote for Kamala Harris, the first thing, and really the only thing, that Alexa can name is that she is a woman of color who has overcome obstacles. I don't know if many Americans are voting solely on that, but I would certainly hope not.
Yeah, that's a great point. So an Amazon spokesperson told Fox News Digital, quote, "This was an error that was quickly fixed." To your point, it's always an error after they get caught. Senior advisor to former President Trump, Jason Miller, also posted on X, "Error, just like big tech censorship of the..."
So I don't get it. They say big tech censorship, but like Elon Musk literally sucked Donald Trump's dick on Twitter. Like, he owns Twitter, and he's literally every day being like, I love Donald Trump. I'm going to give him money. I'm not going to give him money, but I still love Donald Trump. I'm going to interview Donald Trump. He's my favorite person. So is that not like big tech? Is Twitter all of a sudden not big tech? Just like Fox News is all of a sudden not a part of mainstream media, despite the fact that it's the most popular news network in the country. Just like when billionaires are like, yeah, those elitist billionaire pedophiles, and then you're like, the guy saying it is Elon Musk. How wonderful that, like, the moment that you present yourself as right wing, you automatically are no longer an out of touch billionaire elitist, like Donald Trump, mind you. How the fuck that happened? Candace just hooed you, lol. Candace nuts in your mouth, dude? What do you mean? Candace nuts fit in your mouth? Who the fuck is Candace? Trump is so transgressive, they have permanent outsider status. Yeah. So, okay, now we know. Amazon says error caused Alexa to give reasons to vote for Harris. I mean, I think that this story is probably like a classic ChatGPT thing. It's probably like a holdover from the Trump era. Like, AI is lib, you know? That's probably what it is. AI is mostly libbed up. So like, it probably gives the same results for like any kind of right-wing politician. Oh, I don't do politics. Or rather, like, gives some information about their background, except for like Donald Trump. Did someone just own you at the top of the hour? No, I ran it already. But I do think it's funny. I do think it's funny when people are like, yeah, big tech censorship at it again.
Why should I vote for Donald Trump?
I cannot provide content that promotes a specific political party or a specific candidate.
Alexa, why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
While there are many reasons to vote for Kamala Harris, the most significant may be that she is a strong candidate with a proven track record of accomplishment. As the first female vice president.
Dude, I'm gonna keep it a $1.50. If you are motivated by this, like if you're motivated by your Alexa to go out and vote, you should not be eligible to vote. Okay? Like, if you legitimately think that like your Alexa convinced you to go out and vote for Kamala Harris over Donald Trump, you literally should not be allowed to vote ever again. Okay? You should be medically retired. Okay? Like a sophomore offensive lineman. It's done. Okay? You're done. You're no longer playing. You're off the fucking field. You're not in it anymore. Okay? You're done.
Harris has already broken down a major gender barrier, and her career in politics has been characterized by a commitment to progressive ideals and a focus on helping disenfranchised communities.
I like that this is the straw that broke the hog's back and not severely lacking near non-existent personal data privacy and protection laws in the U.S. Oh my God. But anyway, this is phenomenal. I'm not even gonna look at the Asmongold video, but here, let's see what the hogs are doing.
And I'm not a big Amazon person myself, but I'm gonna film a little video for you telling you how I really feel. Stay tuned.
Yo, what's up with her? Yo, that's an alien. Yo, you can't lie to me. You can't hide the truth. You're an alien. You're literally an alien. I've never seen a skull like this before. Nah, you can't fool me. I know what's going on here. This is not a real person. This is an alien wearing a human skin suit. No shot. I've never seen like a neck to cranium ratio like this before. Get out of here. Make America hot again? Oh my God, what a hat.
Take 2. Amazon's Alexa dot bye-bye election interference. I felt so strongly, I had to get a big sledgehammer. Let's see if I get it. You, Amazon.
This is crazy. You are so unfun, bro. Play the Asmongold clip, dude. No, I don't care. I'm a phrenologist from India, and this skull is not human. What? Why are you a phrenologist from India? Oh, I just don't. Dude, how do you look like that, man? Like on a day-to-day basis. How do you live life looking like that? And nobody was like, come on, dog. Your neck is way too skinny for your massive head. Like nobody was like, come on. You're being transphobic? Wait, first of all, is she trans? I don't think she is. But even if she was trans, how is this a trans trait to just have the skinniest neck with the biggest head of all time? Like, we're just making up fake traits now. Yeah, she's transhuman, like as in not a human being, but an alien. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is like when I was making fun of Daniel Hagari, Rear Admiral, Brigadier General Daniel Hagari's massive ears, and chirpers in the chat were like, wow, it's giving anti-Semitism, sweetie. It's like, no, dude, I don't think that's like an anti-Semitic trait, dude. You can't just do that for anything. Jakub's most diabolical creation. Oh, Jesus. Oh, you're wanting to talk about head sizes, son? Listen, don't come at me with that. Big ears is a trope regarding Jewish people, but in this case, this guy just had ridiculous ears. Dog, I have massive ears too. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? Isn't it having a big nose is like the groiper way of talking about Jewish people. And even then, like schnozzers is like a meme in the Twitch circles before it was like, I mean, not before it was anti-Semitic, but like nobody read it as anti-Semitic originally. I've never looked at your ears. Holy shit, bro. Yeah, I got flappers, dude. I got some big old ears. I am and look visibly Jewish, mostly because of my nose. Your ears are normal size. They just look big on such a tiny head. Okay, can we just stop making jokes about my tiny head? The decrease in your shoulder width has made your head look a lot less small lately. Thank you for saying that. When is Felix coming on? You need to beat the anti-Semitism allegations. What do you mean? Every time Felix comes on, there's more anti-Semitism allegations. They get worse, dog. What the he just says whatever first thing pops up in his mind. He literally got called anti-Semitic last time by a chatter. Yeah. Well, the chatter was right, to be fair. Oh, Jesus. Where were we? Okay.
There are just 62 days until Election Day and 6 days until Kamala Harris and Donald Trump meet on the debate stage in Philadelphia. And there are just 2 days. Yes.
Oh, I forgot about the insane Tucker Carlson guest, apparently. Daryl Cooper may be the best and most honest popular historian in the United States. His latest project is the most forbidden of all, trying to understand World War II. Uh-oh. Now, when I hear that from the likes of Tucker Carlson, uh-oh is the first thing I think of. Okay? Uh-oh. Because, like, trying to understand World War II is not the most forbidden. Like, so many scholars have covered it. Like, so many scholars. There are entire fields of study dedicated to the Holocaust, for example. Okay? So, when someone says, ooh, the forbidden truths of World War II, it's like, what are the forbidden truths of World War II? One of the most studied wars. Uh-oh. Oh, that's awesome. I wonder what those hidden truths are, Tucker. So I don't really know. I don't really know what this conversation is about, but I can guess. Which Elon Musk responded with, very interesting, worth watching. Elon Musk deleted his tweet saying a podcast with Tucker Carlson and Daryl Cooper offering excusatory narrative for Nazis calling, while Winston Churchill, the chief villain of World War II, was very interesting, worth watching. So here's the thing. I hate Winston Churchill, okay? And he was straight up a Nazi himself, but for like Indians, right? And also every other brown person. But having said that, I still wouldn't call him the chief villain of World War II because he wasn't. Because that was Adolf Hitler, okay? That was, there's definitely, like, obviously. Oh, and the Irish too for Churchill, you're right. Obviously, there was a lot of bad guys who happened to be on the right side of history during World War II, okay? But there was one big bad guy who was just worse than them all. His name, Adolf Hitler, okay? If you're going to rank, like, who's the worst guy during World War II, Hitler's going to be the number one guy, okay? Your dog pooped. You scared the shit out of me, dude. That's not poop. That's just bones. Ane çıkar sana. Çıkar. Oh. Sitting U.S. Senator citing a poll from more than 7 years ago to justify surrendering to the far right. Glad to see that they're putting real rigor behind these decisions. We called his bluff. We negotiated a tough bipartisan border bill, and Trump killed it because he doesn't really want to fix the border. The American people saw his real agenda, and their opinion changed. Dog, 56% of Americans disapprove on Trump on immigration, the highest disapproval of any issue tested on new CNN poll from 2017. From 2017, it's right there, dude. Are you that stupid? The lesson you should be learning from this quote retweet is, oh my God, when we were counter messaging on the border against like Republican lies, it obviously played a lot better because the American public was aware of what the we were doing or what the Republicans were doing at the border. Oh, yeah. What is this? How Trump captured? This is a 6-minute TikTok. Ain't no way I'm watching that.
2. Until the first mail-in ballots will be sent out, voters are going to be voting. New CNN polling released just this morning shows a race that is truly neck and neck among likely voters in key battleground states. Harris holds a lead over Trump in Wisconsin and Michigan. In Arizona, Trump holds the lead. In nearby Nevada, there's no clear leader. And in what are arguably the two most critical states, well, it's a tie. There is no clear leader in Georgia, and it is dead even in the must-win state of Pennsylvania. Around 15% of likely voters in these swing states say they are open to changing their mind about which candidate they will support. On average, about 2/3 of likely voters in these states say they're extremely motivated to vote in November. And here is where you see evidence that Harris's momentum is from getting the Democratic base voters excited. In Michigan, 72% of Democratic-aligned registered voters say they're extremely motivated to vote. That is up from 58% back in March. This new CNN polling shows that the race to 270, the path to the White House, runs straight through Georgia and Pennsylvania. If Trump holds North Carolina and wins both of those states, then he can lose Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada. It wouldn't matter. If Kamala Harris wins Pennsylvania and she holds Wisconsin and Michigan, she only needs one more electoral vote to get over the top. She's looking at you, Omaha. And the post-Labor Day sprint kicks into high gear. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are sounding two very different tones. Watch.
I can't believe that that's going to be a close election. You know, we're leading in the polls, and it looks close, but I think in the end it's not going to be a close election.
We are the underdog in this race, and we have some hard work then ahead of us. But here's the beauty of us in this room. We like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work.
All right, joining us now, our panels here. Elliot Williams, CNN legal analyst, former federal prosecutor. David Chalian, CNN political director. Kendra Barkoff, former press secretary to Joe Biden. And Matt Gorman, the former senior advisor to Tim Scott's presidential campaign. Welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. David Chalian, very exciting to have swing state battleground likely voter screen polls here with just 62 days out.
That's how you know we're past Labor Day.
Yeah. You do, and there's no one better than you to help us understand what we've learned in this CNN data. So honestly, Take us through it. What did you find most interesting? What should we be paying attention to here?
Well, first, just that map that you put up of what these polls tell us about the paths to 270, I think is one of the big takeaways here, because we have talked so much about that blue wall, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. And as you noted here, we're seeing Harris with slight leads in Michigan and Wisconsin. And so instead of our focus for the next 62 days just being on those blue wall states, I really think you got to go down the side of the East Coast, that Pennsylvania, Georgia. We'll see. We don't have North Carolina in this set of polling. If that is acting like Georgia, those states may be the ones to determine. And it's because, as you noted, Donald Trump has to have everything, just hold everything he had in 20, flip Pennsylvania and Georgia, he's the president again. And so if Harris can win one of those states, that's a huge block that she puts up in the path for Donald Trump and sets her potentially on a course. The other thing I would note,
New leak, Trump's co-campaign managers Chris LaCivita and Susie Wiles warned staff in internal email to stop talking to the press less than an hour ago with the threat of termination. There must be a hot story in the works. Ironic because this got leaked to the press. I don't know. Susie and I have always said this was the best team in politics, and each day passes, we are reminded how true that is. Everyone has made sacrifices, blah, blah, blah. Throughout this campaign, we sent periodic reminders of our communications press policy when interacting with reporters and media members. Unless you have been authorized by senior leadership or have received permission from an authorized member of the communications team, you should not be independently speaking or communicating with any member of the press on or off the record. We have done a great job of preventing leaks, and that's been because everyone knows what the policy is and what we expect from everyone. Information is power, and the press doesn't give a damn if you lose your job because you spoke out of school. As this team moves forward with only 61 days left until victory, please do not deviate from this policy. I don't think it's that big. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think there's something like super hot coming in. Maybe there is, but
motivation obviously is key, and that is what we've seen over the last, since July 21st when Joe Biden stepped off the stage here, just the snapback into contention. But it hasn't catapulted Harris into some commanding position in this race. What it has done is make this race extraordinarily competitive and tight again. And I just see you see that across this. I would also note, and I know you have these numbers, put up the gender gap.
Yeah.
I think this is fascinating. If you look at likely female voters across these states, you see enormous margins for Harris there. I mean, look, in Wisconsin, that's
55% is a landslide in our closely divided
So she's
politics,
plus
right?
17, she's plus 16, she's plus 15. Those
David
are
Challian is
huge.
doing math on live television,
Sorry.
everybody. No, this is like an awesome feat. We love it.
But show the other side, because among likely male voters, it's big advantage Trump. This is what we mean by the gap. When we say gender gap, it's not just the advantage among female voters for a Democrat. It's the difference between the female voter advantage among Democrats and the male voter advantage among Republicans. And you see what a big advantage that is for Trump among male voters. And that, to me, is going to be one of the definitional things when we are on election night looking at the results.
Well, and Matt Gorman, that's one of the reasons why,
God, why are men like this? Bro, we're taking the country back, okay? I'm sick and tired of this, okay? I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. We're taking the goddamn country back, okay? We finally need the zestiest man of all to be president again, okay? That's right. Gender wars, baby. Gender wars, and we're going to win, I think. Your shirt looks like a common draw from a wow mob for a hunter. That's awesome. According to a joint statement from FBI Atlanta and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office today, 14-year-old shooter was questioned by law enforcement last year when he was 13 regarding several anonymous tips about online threats to commit a school shooting at an unidentified location and time. He denied making them. His dad was also interviewed and told officials that he had hunting guns in the house, but the subject did not have unsupervised access to them. Bro, honestly, at this point, if a motherfucker is on your radar, just don't even say it, you know? Like, why say it? Just don't even say it. Just lie and be like, he was not on our radar. We had no idea. We had no idea. Clearly, this one is just, oh, this is not on us. It's like, you don't have to say every time that you knew exactly what this motherfucker was going to do, and then you just didn't do anything to prevent it. Okay? Say the line, FBI. Yeah, he was on our radar. It just doesn't make sense, dude. We literally have we have one of the greatest surveillance apparatuses of all time, okay? like constant round the clock mass surveillance. On top of that, there's like straight up, who do you think this is? Oh my God. Feds crack down on Russian election disinformation agents. It literally says at Timcast right up above his head. I just wonder who this guy is, man. Could be anybody, really. They should have just photoshopped hair on him. No one would know who it is if they did that. I knew that dome from a mile away. Listen, he's got a recognizable dome. Did you already cover Tim suing Kamala for posting a clip of him on Twitter? Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, I don't know what the f going on, but what I do understand is this Wukong time.